Sorry, I was watching.
In a wasteful and subversive art-making activity. As audience members, you are guilty of encouraging deplorable behavior and furthermore, contributing to the delinquency of minors. You have the right to remain silent and motionless. Anything you say or do to encourage artistic expression can and will be held against you in a court of law. You have the right to remain silent while major changes in the mission of community colleges are made without public debate.
No!
You have the right to ration education and prevent students from repeating the courses they need for success in college and career. You have the right to prevent resources from being squandered on arts education and college education in general. You cannot exercise these rights on your own. We are here to ensure that you do.
Are we gonna let them get away with that? No! So, everybody, please clap your hands with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Education's what we really want. Education's what we really want. Education's what we really want. But we must try and try.
Performers of the afternoon. Woo! What a great job to start the day. So I want to thank Ray Brown's Student Jazz Ensemble. We have Magusa Ensai, Carmen Escovedo, Aaron Caceres, and Amanda Ross. Can we give them another round of applause? And of course that fabulous performance that we just saw. So that was Sharon Tuxedoya's Dancers, and that piece was titled, You Have the Right to Remain Silent. And I want to make sure that we note that the cast included current students, alumni, lifelong learners, faculty, and both past and present employees here at Cabrillo College. Can we give them another round of applause, please? So I want to welcome everyone. This is our day of action here at Cabrillo College, sponsored by the Cabrillo College Federation of Teachers. This day of action is to remember to keep community in community colleges. We have t-shirt making over there under that tent. We have pizza. I think we still have pizza. We might still have pizza. We might not have pizza. Do we have pizza? Woo! And we have petitions over there if you want to get involved. More information if you like what you hear today and you want to get involved further, please go see Topsy over there in the jean jacket. My name is Adriana Mee. I'm a transfer student here at Cabrillo College. I'm also a community organizer and a student activist who thoroughly believes in the importance of education and a right to education. We're here today to specifically talk about the repeatability regulations that have been imposed upon us. Can you hear me? I feel like this is going out.
Good. We can hear you.
Thank you. So as some of you may know, in most cases, students and community members are only allowed to take a class once if they pass it. Once. One time. Boo! I want us to critically think about what this is doing to our Cabrillo College campus. What it's doing to the visual and applied arts, what it's doing to the music department, to the theater department, what it's doing for early childhood education, creative writing, welding, foreign languages. I want us to think about the students and community members that it's impacting. Think about lifelong learners. Think about those who might have English as a second language, who need to be proficient in certain skills before they feel like they can move on. I want us to think about people who are coming back into school after being gone for maybe a decade, even a year, even a few months. What it means to take classes multiple times so that you feel confident in your skills that you can move on. I want us to think about the courses that we take, not just for a specific goal, not just for transferring, but courses that we take for enjoyment, for fulfillment, to enrich our lives and to enrich the art community and the lives of others. These courses are important. Important not to just take once, but to take multiple times. And I want us to remember and to recognize that the departments and the people that these repeatability regulations are impacting are the demographics who are always impacted. The arts are always the first to go in public education, in high schools, in middle schools, in elementary schools, and we have a choice. We have the ability to take a stand and say that that is not going to happen. That the arts are important. They're always important. And they should be included in any critical education in a community. So I'm a transfer student. I plan on transferring in the fall. And maybe some of you are like me. And maybe some of you are leaving in a year. Maybe some of you are leaving in a month and you think that this does not affect me, that I don't need to care about this, I don't need to be concerned about this. But I'm here to tell you these are communities, these are our friends, our families, and eventually we are all going to be impacted. That when half of us are left voiceless, the rest of us may as well not have a voice. That in order to move together as a community, we have to be one. We have to fight for each other, not just for ourselves as individuals, but we have to stand up and demand education to be a right for all, not just for some. So I want us to keep this in mind today. We're going to move on to our next performers. Il Dolce Suono performing next. Everyone give them a round of applause. Thank you.
Chante,
crazy by myself because I'm doing it at
I'm a theater arts teacher here on this campus, and many of you have come through that program and been able to go on to do wonderful things in your life. The music department at Cabrillo College is one of the finest music departments of any college on any campus in California. The people, oh, you can hear me now? Cheryl Anderson, those people who just sang are Cheryl Anderson's teaching assistants. They work with all kinds of music students. And you know, the students who played the jazz quartet at the beginning are Ray Brown's students. He's an internationally known, as is Cheryl Anderson. Cheryl takes her choir to Rome to sing at Carnegie Hall. And by the way, you know the old joke? How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. That's what we mean by repeatability. Everybody who is within the hearing of my voice needs to go over to our information table, fill out a postcard, get a brochure, understand the issues that we need the California Board of Governors to revisit these regulations that say you can't ever repeat a class. It's anti-education. There's no way it's benefiting anybody to be told that if you can't speak English, you can't take a basic English class more than once. If you're a work experience student, you can only experience that work for one semester. If you're a culinary arts student and you can take the student restaurant, the Pino Alto, that has such delicious food, if you take that class once, you have only spent 2 weeks of the whole semester actually in the kitchen because you have to do a whole rotation. This repeatability is just beginning to affect our courses and our enrollment and our programs and the avenue to student success. As we go down this path in the next few years, our enrollment is going to suffer even more, and the success of our students moving on to transfer programs, to occupations, to being hired, to getting their resumes together, their portfolios together, their experience levels together, they will not be able to compete in a world where previously they could take a class more than one time in order to be proficient. So I want to hear from all of you right now. How many of you will send a postcard via our table to the Board of Governors to say, revisit this repeatability regulation? Give us a cheer. We have taken this issue up and down the state. We've taken it to the California Federation of Teachers Convention, where the resolution passed almost unanimously. Our faculty senate is behind us. We have faculty senates from all around California who are supporting this issue. So don't let up. Keep your pedal to the metal and pedal to the metal. I want to introduce the next performance. We have an incredible theater arts department here at Cabrillo College. At the moment, the show that just opened is Shakespeare's As You Like It. We have two students, Declan Brennan and Justin Singleton, who are playing two of the characters from As You Like It. They're going to do a short scene, and then later Justin's going to come back and do another piece from As You Like It. But after the As You Like It scene, we have a student, Nicolette Nasser, who's written an original song, and she will be singing that song with her fellow students from the class Voice for the Musical Stage. So let's go on with the show.
Wood tree who loves to lie with me and turn his merry note unto the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy, but winter and rough weather, rough weather.
More, I prithee, more!
It will make you melancholy, Monsieur Jacques.
I thank it! More, I prithee, more! I can suck melancholy from a song as a weasel sucks eggs. More, I prithee, more!
My voice is ragged. I know I cannot please you.
I do not desire you to please me. I desire you to sing. Now come, another stanza. Call you on the stanzas?
What you will, Monsieur Jacques.
Nay, I care not for their names. They owe me nothing. Will you sing?
More at your request than to please myself.
Well, if I thank any man, I'll thank you. Now come, warble.
The Duchess hath been all this day to look you.
And I have been all this day to avoid her. I'll go sleep, if I can. If I cannot, I'll rail against all the firstborn of Egypt.
Hello, everyone. This is...
Hi, I'm Nicolette Nasser, and I've written a little song express my feelings about repeatability. It's called The Repeatability's Lament. The average Cabrillo student
whose future is insecure
due to a changing world
may have needs
to take classes over and over
to hone skills that must endure
in order to in the real world compete. In other words, just from striving and driving and trying to be complete, a student might want to repeat.
when you get to be a great artist and have fortune and fame.
To get to Carnegie Hall, the answer's the same.
All you do is practice to get to the top of your game.
A student might want to repeat. Knowledge is never complete. With new teachers, new discoveries, and inspirations you've yet to meet. More art in school for the masses. People gotta get up their asses. A student might want to repeat some classes.
portraying Orlando, and Elise Noemi is Rosalind, and Rosalind is dressed as a boy. She's masquerading as a boy in the Forest of Arden, and Orlando and she meet up in the forest, and now we're going to hear from them.
Alas, what shall I do with my doublet and hose? Do I look all right?
Yes!
Okay.
Oh God, please don't do this to me. Oh.
Do you hear, Forrester?
Oh.
Very well, what would you?
I pray you, what is it, o'clock?
Oh, you should ask me what time of day. There's no clock in the forest.
Then there's no true lover in the forest. Else sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as a clock.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
With that shepherdess, my sister. Here in the fringe of the forest, like fringe upon a petticoat.
Pray you, are you native of this place? Your accent, it's something finer than you could purchase and so removed a dwelling.
I have been told so by many, but indeed an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, who was in his youth an inland man, one that knew courtship well, for there he fell in love. I have heard him read many lectures against it, and I thank God I am not a woman to be touched with so many giddy offenses as he has generally taxed their whole sex withal.
Pray you, can you remember any of the principal evils he laid to the charge of women?
There were none principal. They were all like one another as halfpence are. Every one fault seeming monstrous till his fellow fault came to match it.
Prithee, recount some of them.
No, I will not cast away my physic, but on those that are sick. There is a young man haunts the forest that abuses our young trees with carving Rosalind on their barks.
Oh, Rosalind.
Rosalind?
Rosalind. Maybe.
Rosalind?
I don't know for sure.
Anyway, he hangs odes upon hawthorns and elegies on brambles, all forsooth deifying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him.
Oh well, I am he that is so love-shaked.
There are none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me how to know a man in love, in which cage of rushes I am sure you are not prisoner.
Well, what were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not. A blue eye and sunken, which you have not. An unquestionable spirit, which you have not. And then your hose should be ungartered, your bonnet unbanded, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But he is no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrement, as loving yourself than seeming the lover of any other.
Fair youth, I would I could make thee believe I love.
Make me believe it. You may as soon make her that you love believe it.
I swear to thee, youth, by the white hand of Rosalind, I am that he, that unfortunate he.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Oh, neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness.
I see.
And I tell you, deserves as well a dark house and a whip as madmen do. And the reason why they're not so punished and cured well, is that the lunacy is so ordinary that the whippers are in love too. Yet I profess curing it by counsel.
Counsel? Did you ever cure any so?
Yes, one, and in this manner. He was to imagine me his love, his mistress. And I set him every day to woo me. At which time would I, being but a moonish youth, grieve, be effeminate, changeable, longing and liking, proud, fantastical, apish, shallow, inconstant, full of tears, full of smiles. For every passion something, and for no passion truly anything. Now as boys and women are for the most part cattle of this color, would now like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, then weep for him, then spit at him. Then I drave my suitor from his mad humor of love to a living humor of madness, which was to forswear the full stream of the world, and to live in a nook, merely monastic. And thus I cured him. And in this way will I take upon me to wash your liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart, that there shall not be even one spot of love in it.
No, I would not be cured, youth.
I would cure you if you would but call me Rosalind. Rosalind.
Rosalind.
Rosalind.
Rosalind.
And come every day and woo me.
Now, by the faith of my love, I will.
Will you go?
With all my heart, good youth.
Nay, you must call me Rosalind.
Hello everyone, my name is Sadie Reynolds. I teach in the Sociology and ACE departments here at Cabrillo. I'm an active member of our wonderful union, CCFT, which staged this event. And I want to thank you all for taking time out of your days to come out today and be with us. Education is the first step to making change. We need to understand what's going on in order to change it. So this is all about educating you about what's going on and then inspiring you to take action. I want to thank all the volunteers, the faculty and students who have made this happen, all the performers. And it's been totally amazing and inspiring how people have come together to make this happen. So many different, you guys over there, you over there, you over there, all of you coming together to make this happen, to invest in our community college and keep the community in community colleges. So these repeatability restrictions are severely limiting access to students to a quality education. Students from various programs and areas are being affected profoundly. The performing and visual arts, and part of what we want to do today is show you the immense, invaluable, incalculable value of these of our programs. Our students are so talented, and you've got to see some of that. There's more to come. They're restricting access to students in CTE programs, in programs that require keeping up with changing technology, basic skills students, those most needy students, ESL students, the list goes on. There is a fact sheet over at that table right there. It's green. It will tell you more about all the different ways in which our students are being affected deleteriously by the changes. These changes, among with others that are going along with them, are drastically limiting the scope and vision of the community college. In 1960, Pat Brown passed the California Master Plan for Education. And that plan said that every Californian should have full, unfettered access to a quality, affordable education. These restrictions and other changes that are going along with them are a huge blow to that vision. We must understand these restrictions in context. As a larger system of changes that are happening that threaten our public education system. Public education has been under attack for decades. Since 1960, California's K-12 system went from first to worst. In the 1960s, California's K-12 system was the best in the nation and one of the best in the world. Prop 13 hit and gutted our fact spaces for education, and there was an onslaught on funding for public education in addition to that, and we've seen eroding access to quality and access through those decades. The national focus on high-stakes testing has eroded quality, while making billions for the testing companies like Pearson, who have high-paid lobbyists in the pockets of our legislators to promote their interests, and to the detriment of the rest of us. Efforts to privatize our popular vouchers and certain charter schools, and teachers and unions are being demonized. Teachers are seen as being lazy, incompetent, and the unions as greedy. You'll see that if you turn on Fox News, but all the political ads too from the right are totally demonizing public school teachers as the root of this problem. And we need to step back further. We need to step back further and look at the much larger, longer-term historical and political context. Increasing poverty and inequality over recent decades. Real wages have declined precipitously in the last few decades. Unionization as well, and the living wage jobs that go along with them that come with benefits and pensions. Right on. Unemployment and underemployment have increased. Low-wage service sector employments have proliferated in Walmart and McDonald's. And in order to make a living in those fields, you need to apply for public assistance. It's set up that way. It's getting worse and worse. Homelessness and untreated mental illness have increased during this time. The welfare and benefits that people used to be able to count on in dire times are being eroded constantly. And then we have at the same time, and it's not unrelated, the emergence of mass incarceration. To the point where today the United States incarcerates more people than any other nation in the world. And what are they incarcerated for?
Non-violent crime.
Non-violent crimes, crimes of poverty, drug addiction, despair. And if you're wealthy and you get caught up, you are going to get off because you're going to have a good lawyer. There might be that one case where somebody does time, but it is extremely rare. We all know that, right? Along with this, we've seen the emergence of the school-to-prison pipeline, a well-worn pattern where kids from the poorest schools, which are the schools that mostly kids of color, poor kids of color are attending, are getting pushed out of school. The schools are militarized, they're treated like criminals, and minor infractions get them suspensions, expulsions, and police action. You can look at a map and you can see the pipeline going directly from these poor schools to local juvenile hall facilities. And then from there to the local county jail and the state prisons. And death, homelessness, dead-end jobs. All of these changes are connected. They're all connected. Access to quality public education is a foundation of a healthy democracy. We know our democracy is in peril. In 2010, the Supreme Court upheld Citizens United, meaning that private entities, corporations, the filthiest, richest individuals in the world could donate monies in unlimited amounts for their political campaigns. Recently, last week, a study out of Princeton and Northwestern argued that, based on their statistical analysis, the U.S. has reached the point of an oligarchy. It is no longer a democracy, it's an oligarchy, ruled by the few with the most military and economic power. Education is a linchpin of inequality in our society now. It's a scarce resource. It's already unequally distributed. Look, who goes to community colleges? A few middle-class people go, lifelong learners, maybe people who want to do a different thing later. Mostly, it's working-class families who send their kids to our schools. It's their only chance. Middle-class families, upper-middle-class families, they send their kids straight to university, and the more money they have, the more likely their kids are going to go to the top-tier Ivy Leagues. All right. But it also contains the power of us to reclaim our democracy from corporations and the 1% and these changes that are trying to destroy society. My case is a case in point. I dropped out in 7th grade. There was no hope for me. I tried to go back to school a couple times, but there were too many complications in my life. I just could not do school and they pushed me out. I came back to school, the California community college system, in my 20s, and I got such a high quality education there. I got such wonderful support that I was able to transfer to UC as a 4-year student. Something I never imagined possible. I got such a high quality education. I didn't have money, And I couldn't get financial aid because I was not a citizen. I was born in Mexico under pretty extenuating circumstances. I didn't have my citizenship. I had to pay, but it was $5 a unit. And my mom was a clerk at a bookstore, so she got me discount books, and we did it. We survived. We did it. I worked 30 hours a week, and I went to school, and in a few years, I was ready to transfer. I started as a basic skills student, and because of our California community college system, I was able to succeed. I went on, and did I say bachelor's, MA, and PhD? Okay. Countless others of my generation, people right before me and right after me, when we were investing in schools and when we believed in investing in people, benefited from that system and rose out of poverty. And access has been increasingly restricted, but still, this is one place where people can rise from poverty and do something with their lives. And more importantly, I think, our educational system allows them the opportunity to grow as people, as human beings, whole people who find their deepest passions and reach for their highest potentials. It's not about career so much for me. I mean, that's great. It's a way to get out of poverty, but education is about personal growth, reaching for your highest potential, serving your community, becoming a global citizen. And that's what we do here, but it's being eroded by these changes. So what can you do? A couple things you can do today is sign our petition to repeal the repeatability restrictions. It's on that table over there, it's green. There are postcards you can sign that we will go ahead and send to the boards of governors to you so that they can hear our protest of these regulations and our desire to repeal them. There's other stuff over there. There's a fact sheet. May 1st, Thursday, next Thursday, May 1st, Horticultural Building 5005 up on the hill. Please come. You'll get much more information and much more inspiration there. We're going to go into great detail with a 3-minute mic on students primarily, but also faculty and community members telling their 3-minute stories of how these regulations have impacted them. So come to that. And finally, I would like to say, I have the great honor of passing the mic back to Adriana, who embodies the potential and promise of the community college system to build individuals, to create the most phenomenal individuals who are committed to their community. I mean, Adriana was my student a few semesters ago, and I don't know if I have ever seen such an engaged, caring, dedicated activist and scholar, and she's off to Berkeley, I'm quite sure, to study sociology. We're waiting on that letter. So I'm so pleased to turn the mic over to her, and she's going to read you a poem written just for today. Thank you so much.
Sadie Reynolds, she is incredible. I took her course a couple semesters ago, and she, along with the rest of the teachers union, during the Prop 30 campaign that we ran, that was run here a few semesters ago, fired me up so much that I was able to get active in so many different other areas. But it was because of teachers like you, because of people like that in my life, because of the teachers union, who we see is really active here on campus, that I felt inspired. And I really hope that some of you all feel really inspired today also from this, and that you can take something home to remember that when we talk about these repeatability regulations, when we talk about streamlining education, when we talk about all the different policies that are affecting community colleges, it's important that we understand, again, that it's not just us that it's affecting, it's not just us as individuals, but it affects the entire community and statewide. So thank you. Thank you, Sadie, so much.
I am perpetually learning to equate justice with education, democracy with critical contemplation, and an infinite power to a student population. I am perpetually learning that the mind was not made to be fed, it was created to mold. That movements of the heart cannot be easily bought and sold, and that one day we will rise to realize the lies that we have been told, because I am perpetually learning that the student's mind cannot be controlled. You see, this is less of a poem and more of a riddle about what happens when you deny access access to knowledge, even if only a little, when a war is waged between policymakers and educators forcing students in the middle. This is what happens when you ration the truth, skim the fat off philosophy and feed the table scraps to the youth, divide and conquer, distribute to only those deemed fit. So if you love to learn, if you love the arts, if you think that your education should be a journey rather than a goal, well then you'd better recommit. This is what happens when you say freedom for few, justice for some, and equality for only those who can afford it, who have historically always been able to afford it. I'm here to tell you that we have a problem. When our California community college system no longer represents the communities that they are serving, when we start to notice trends and patterns in the policies that we're observing, wherein streamlining education becomes the main incentive, I would hope that students grow ever more aware, ever more skeptical, becoming assertively attentive. For the fabrics of tomorrow are woven with the threads of today. And if we want a better future for ourselves and our communities, critical education is the only way. And if half of us don't have a voice, the other half might as well not too. Because if the student population is left speechless, there's nothing else the world can do. So parents, educators, students, and community members alike, it is time to make some noise and it's time to start a fight. Education is not a privilege, it's a basic human right.
What a diverse and wonderful campus we have. Yay for us! I want to introduce an old friend of mine. His name is John Mark Hurley. I met him when I was teaching a night acting class in Watsonville at the Cabrillo campus when it first opened, which was many years ago, and he came with so much experience, and I thought, well, gee, this guy's got a lot of experience, and he's taking a beginning acting class on a Wednesday night. It turns out that he started playing the piano at our break time, and I said, gee, you play pretty good piano. And he said, yeah, I have a master's degree in music, and I've been teaching, but I want to come back to community college to take some acting classes because I want to make a career in the theater with music and acting. And so from that time on, John Mark Hurley became a really good friend of mine. He has been in many, many productions. He's going to talk to you after he's going to perform a song for you now, accompanied by Elizabeth on the piano, who is sight reading for him. Thank you very much. And after he sings his song, we're going to have Sue Brown's violin duet. And then John Mark is going to talk about being a lifelong learner, being a community mentor, being a student who can help other students into the world of the professions that he is now a member of. So here you go, John Mark Hurley, a song from Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
This is the moment, this is the day when I send all my doubts and demons on their way. Every endeavor I have made ever is coming into play, is here and now today. This is the moment, this is the time when the momentum and the moment are in rhyme. Give me this moment, this precious chance. I'll gather up my past and make some sense at last. This is the moment when all I've done, all of the dreaming, scheming, and screaming become one. This is the day, see it sparkle and shine, when all I've lived for becomes mine. For all these years I faced the world alone, and now the time has come to prove to them I've made it on my own. This is the moment, my final test. Destiny beckoned, I never reckoned a second best. I look down, I must not fall. This is the moment, the sweetest moment of them all. This is the moment, dim all the odds. This day or never, I'll sit forever with the gods. When I look back, I will always recall, moment for moment, this was the moment, the sweetest moment of them all.
Right now we have Chloe and Satya, Sue Brown's violin students, and they're going to play a Bach duet, I think. What? Pliel? Should they?
everyone. Thank you. It was a pleasure to get to be here today, and as Susan introduced me, you know my name is John Mark, and I am here to represent the effects of repeatability on the lifelong learner. I came to Cabrillo College in my late 20s, arriving with a bachelor's and a master's degree in music. But I knew that my path wasn't done, and I wanted to pursue acting and how acting and music met together. So I enrolled in beginning acting, and to much my delight, I met the wonderful Susan Stewart. So I did this because I wanted to enhance my degrees. I enrolled in beginning acting. I met people from all walks of life in that acting class. A mom in her 50s with high schoolers, teens from all different backgrounds, socioeconomic and ethnic, embarking on their higher education, and people in their mid-20s still trying to figure out what higher education was all about. So it was my pleasure to be in that class and get to embark on this journey. Over 3 years, and because I was able to repeat the courses I participated in, it led me to doing several theater arts productions, both here at Cabrillo in the theater arts department here and at MPC as well. So I repeated theater arts productions classes for about 3 years. Eventually, if you play my story, if you fast forward in my story, eventually I become a professional in my field, and now I hold union affiliation in Actors Equity Association and Screen Actors Guild AFTRA union. So I am a union member in both of in theater and in film and television. So that's a pretty big deal. And that happened all because of that set a course for my life, and happened because I was able to repeat those very valuable theater arts productions courses. And none of this would have happened without that. You see, repeatability sets a course for professional pathways for folks who come to community college. Repeatability also fosters networking. I have been hired by several matriculating fellow students that I met as a result of repeating those courses, not only as an actor, but in my field as a professional musician as well. I met them, I got to know them there in the classes while we were studying, while we were reading, and we were learning together. Lastly, what I'd like to say is that repeatability strengthens our community at large, contributing to a cohesive and diverse citizenry. I have a friend who is a woman in her later 60s, and she decided quite late in her life, her name is Lynn, and she studies at MPC as well. She decided quite late in her life that she wanted to become a novelist. Consequently, Lynn is also an AEA member, so we share acting in common as well. She enrolled in creative writing at MPC and started down the path of crafting her words into a fictitious novel about a cowboy from Laughlin, Nevada. And she got about 75% done with her novel where she wanted it. She enrolled in a creative writing course at MPC, and she did so about 3 times. In the course of my friend Lynn's repeating that course, she developed a support system of other novelists who took the class. And what's interesting is I did a production with Lynn last year in the spring, and in our time together, she would talk about her novel writing class, like just continually. She would talk about how much joy it brought to her life, and then she would talk about the people that she met in that class. And then in the course of our production, when it went into its run, I started meeting those people, and they were moms in their 50s with little elementary schoolers. They were folks as young as 18. You see, Lynn was impacting their life, and she was impacting and being impacted by them as well. So it's really interesting to watch how Lynn's community grew as a result of repeating that creative writing class, to the point where those students that she met would often get together outside of their class. and meet and read their novels that they were writing. Much to their dismay, I would like to tell you, this fall, when that group of students, there was about 8 of them, when they went to enroll in the creative writing class once again, Lynn, so she could complete her novel and get it into production, they were shut out of their class, quite sadly. So you see, community colleges build community. And repeatability fosters that community, which strengthens education for everyone involved. What a wonderful place is a public learning institution where the career musician now in their later years who's retired can sit next to a young student in the wind ensemble or in the college orchestra and pass on their knowledge, experience, and their mentorship, all while repeating the same course, compounding the education exponentially for all who are involved. So what I'd like you to do today is, if you haven't already filled out that little postcard, please sign your name to the postcard and join with me in sending a message to the Board of Governors. Put the community back in community college. Thank you very much and have a nice day.
We have a student, Justin Singleton, who you've seen before, who is playing Jaques in As You Like It at the College Theater, just opened. And he has a very famous monologue that he's doing to end the show, but Andy Malcolm also has a song, The Impossible Dream from Man of La Mancha. And I think we have time to have both of those people perform for us before we turn it over to Deborah Bone, our CCFT president, to give us our Power to the People speech at the end.
All right, you'll have to forgive me. This is both a cappella and the first time I've done this in front of people, so. To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from afar, to try though your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. And the world will be better for this, that one man, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable stars.
Art student Andy Malcolm. And now we have Justin playing Jaques from As You Like It.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. Well, they have their exits, they have their entrances, and one man in his lifetime plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. First, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. And then the whining schoolboys, with shining morning face and satchel, creeping like snail unwillingly to school. Oh, and then the lover, sighing like furnace, with a woeful ballad made into his mistress's eyebrow? And then the soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard. Jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, the fair round belly and good capon line, with eyes severe and beard of more formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances. So he plays his part. The sixth age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloons with spectacles on nose and pouch at side. His youthful hose well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank. Oh no. The last scene of all that ends this strange, eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Let's welcome Deborah Bone, our CCFT Union President.
Thank you. I am so pleased with all the hard work. This is a big thank you from CCFT to all the amazing student performers. What an incredible showing of the amazing talent that happens here at Cabrillo College and how much is being supported by the arts programs. Thank you to the printmakers and the beautiful artists, visual arts that are also part of the incredible talent and the amazing opportunities that students have to learn and grow here at Cabrillo. And then thank you to all the organizers from CCFT and students and the community to help us with this event today, to really point out to the state that we don't want those limitations anymore. Maybe they were needed when there wasn't enough funding, but now there really is enough money in the system, and we have to prioritize students having access, students getting to take the classes they need for the education that they want so they can take it forward and out into the world. And I think we've seen today how the arts can touch everyone's heart and spirit. And I think that's such an important contribution in our times where we are always wanting to understand who we are and what we're doing here, and the arts have such an answer for that. And so many of the other talents that are also needing to take the time and have the repeatability. Together we can make a change. Together we can tell the governors, the Board of Governors, to fix this, and together we can make access to education for all. So thank you again. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.